She goes, my mom is Wonder Woman. And then the parent would look at me strangely, not recognizing me, and I would go, every mother is a Wonder Woman.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back and Happy New Year. This is our first episode of 2025, so we are going to be celebrating with a Prosecco today. And if you know, you've been tagging along for this long, you know that our Proseccos are typically our champagnes and our sparkling wines. And this one is a creamy, delicate Prosecco that is from Veneto, sorry, excuse the verbiage, Veneto region of northern Italy. And this is a dry champagne, but it's also packed with fruity flavors. And I already tried it, and I can honestly rate this a 9 out of 10. Okay, this is sometimes Proseccos are really iffy, like they can just give too much of a champagne-y vibe, if that makes sense. But I really like this one. So this is our wine of the day. And once again, Happy New Year, y'all. This is so crazy. This is the first week. Y'all, I'm tripping. It's literally January 15th tomorrow. This is the second week of January, and we are bringing it in together. If you know, you've been watching, been tagging along, y'all know I went home to New Orleans for about a month. Great experience. During that time, I also went to New York. I brought the new year in at home, but on the 2nd, we went to New York with some of my friends, had an amazing time. And y'all, I just want to say I'm really grateful for you guys to be here. As long as you have been here with me, we have a long way to go, but we have come so far, and I really appreciate all my people that have been listening, tagging along, taking my advice, and just being here and very supportive. Like, I really appreciate y'all for real. But this year we are taking things up a notch. I kind of was very lax on my approach, jumping onto my podcast platform, and not being very I started to linger away and not being so hands-on because I let life start to take over, and I realized I can't use that as an excuse because I created a platform for my ladies, for my moms out there that need support, and I'm also a mom that needs support as well. So it's just all iffiness has to stop, and I never was a fan of it coming from myself. I'm not a fan of myself when I do stuff like that, but I also have to be aware of all the things I do have to going on in my life. So it's just okay, bet we're gonna take a whole different approach, and I'm most definitely gonna need y'all support and input every step of the way. So y'all need to let me know what y'all want to see, what y'all want to hear, because it does make it a lot better knowing what everybody else is going through. I know that my experiences are extremely helpful to you ladies, because I know it's okay, but I don't want y'all to feel like y'all going through what y'all going through alone, but also it's just I don't experience everything as well, so it's just I need a different perspective. So I'm here to remind you ladies that my email, momscanwine2@gmail.com, is open in action for business. So I need you ladies to tap in, send me those questions, send me anything you need advice for, any story times that I can share on the platform that we can unpack and talk about, because we really need it. We need to be there for each other, and we need to know that everybody is going through their own things at their own time periods, but handling it very differently. And we need to see that, so that way we can always look at different perspectives and be okay, but this didn't work for me, but this worked for her. So let me try that out and see, if this can help my situation. Okay. But before we get into our topic, I just wanted to, talk about the things that have been going on. I never really gave y'all a real genuine update about the things that have been going on in my life. My pie update, y'all. Mai is about to be 2 years old in May. Crazy. But yes, we have already entered our terrible twos. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I have a teenager, a 2-year-old that is a teenager. Sis is insane. The attitude, I wouldn't say so much it's an attitude. It's just that she is, I don't know. She's spiraling. if that makes sense, y'all. The tantrums are insane, and she only does that with me or when I'm around. Like, I've noticed that in New Orleans, like when I come around and she throws tantrums and stuff, like my mom be like, oh, she does not do this when you're not here, blah, 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 blah. Versus when she's with me alone, like, she'll be chilling and then she just act crazy out of nowhere. Typically when it comes down to her toys, she throwing stuff, like, I'm looking at her like, girl, like I sometimes I really have to sit there. I'm like, I have no idea what to do in this situation, because it's just like, I don't want to abuse her, like, not gonna do that, but you need to be tapped a little bit, because you are showing out for real. Like, calm down. And I be talking to her, sometimes it's like I'm talking to her like she's my age. Like, I be like, bro, chill out. Like, chill out right now. So it's just, that's what I've been dealing with mine. But she is extremely smart. She's actually too smart for my own good. And I have to prepare myself for that, because it's just like, I have to think about where she comes from. We are a very educated family. And I'm also in school. So it's just like, she's just around a lot of educated people. She's in school as well, daycare, and they're very advanced for their age. So it's just like, wow, like, okay, maybe you're not a baby. You are just a miniature human in a tiny little body. And I'm like, okay, you just know a lot more than I think you do. And I have to prepare. I got to move a little smarter, a little quicker. That's the only thing. But dealing with them toddlers, baby, I'm about to go get me some boxing gloves, because it's going to start early. The tussling, hustling for real. But I'm going to most definitely keep y'all updated with that. Life so far for me, I started the semester today, which means I am closer to graduating. I'm graduating in 26, if you do not know. I was supposed to graduate in 25, but I decided to like stretch my classes out, because I felt like when I was pregnant and I took I never took time off from school, but I actually added more to my plate, taking more classes, and I felt overwhelmed. Like, I felt like I wasn't performing well in all of my classes, because I was, taking so many hard classes at one time. And it's like, it's no rush, like, God is, everything is happening for a reason. So I need to take my time and stretch it out as far as I can, because I'm going to get there when I get there, when I need to get there. Right. So I'm going to be graduating in 26, but I realized today, I'm like, oh my God, it's like, I'm not going to know what to do outside of school, because school is my structure. That's my foundation. I've been in school since I've been able to understand what school is, So it's like, when I graduate, I have to have my ducks in a row. I am going to spiral out of control. And if you feel like that, not even being in school, but you're going to the end of a big era of your life, it's just like, you have to be prepared for what's next. But it's like, how do I be prepared for that? I don't know what's going to come at me. So it's just like, this is all I know. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also kind of nervous about it. But for sure, you ladies will be in tune with me by then. So y'all gonna know how it goes. I'm most definitely gonna keep y'all updated with that. And yes, life just in general, going home for an entire month did a lot for me. I was able to run wild, run loose, get these nicks and kinks out, because the new year is a new approach to how I handle situations, or how I put myself in situations. I hate to say a new year is a new me. It's not a new me. It's just a changed me, if that makes sense. I'm going to elevate what my old self used to be, and, apply that to the new things that have to be presented to me in the new year. So I hope you ladies have that same motive. Don't try to do a whole 180 so quickly. Like, change like a little ticking, tick, 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 like that. Because sometimes you're going to overwhelm yourself with so much change and so much craziness that it's just not going to produce a positive outcome, if that makes sense. Because it's just like, now you're going to be trying to constantly turn your head about what you missed. It's just like, you need to take your time before you even try to change yourself so completely. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and tap into our topic for today. So in honor of the new year, our wine of the day is going to be about the anxieties of being a new mommy. And I want to first start off by congratulating all of my new mommies out there, or mommies to be. Welcome to the club, girl. It's going to be a really fun roller coaster ride. But guess what? We are all here for each other, and we're going to learn and grow. Because that's the whole point of us mommies combined too, we are here creating a community. It's starting small, but we're gonna grow. We're gonna become bigger, right? But like I said, starting off the new year, I kind of wanted to get into those anxieties of being a new mom and what it's like, transitioning out of an old lifestyle that you're used to, because it is very challenging. It is very hard to, detach from, because it's something that you're used to. You've been doing it for years at a time. And it's just like, I'm so antsy to let it go, but I'm also ready to see what the future holds for me, right? So to begin off, thinking about the anxieties of being a new mom and the things that I did to try to avoid them when I was pregnant, it had a lot to do with all of the things that I put into myself, right? As far as knowledge and reading and listening to people's stories, the good and the bad. Now, I know you're probably looking at me crazy, but I recommend on your own time, like, or if you feel like you can handle that kind of stuff, the best thing I could have did when I was pregnant was look at the negative side of things, right? I kind of don't want to, because I didn't give a trigger warning. I can't trigger warning right now because I want to speak it out there for those that can't handle. But if you can't handle it, probably skip like 5 minutes. Okay, give y'all some time. Okay, so I did a lot of research about things that could go wrong during pregnancy, things that can go wrong during birth, as far as like, stillbirths and maternal deaths and just overall health issues, and then newborn issues about babies with SIDS. And it's another thing that happens with babies that's unexplained, but it's not SIDS. It starts with a B. I should have had that on my forefront for y'all, but it's something else that I was looking into, just basically looking into all of the negative things, because even though sometimes there aren't signs, there are signs. And if you aren't educated to look for those signs, then it's like, I'm not putting the blame on anyone, because nobody wants to think about that type of stuff, right? But I'm saying it is just better for you to educate yourself on the things that could go wrong, so you can be aware of what to look out for. And like I said, that was probably one of the best things that I could do during my pregnancy, because even though it kind of like pushed me to be a little more anxious, it also relaxed me in some sense, because it's just like, oh, okay, like now I'm not oblivious to things that could possibly go wrong when it comes down to me and this journey and welcoming a new life into the world, right? And like I said, it can be very scary. It was terrifying. Like sometimes I actually cried. I cried. I was extremely nervous. I probably went to the hospital a couple of times because Mai wasn't moving. Like she wasn't moving. That's a big sign of things, like baby's not moving, and people's just bypassing it. And I remember one time, this day is actually funny now, I can laugh at it, but this particular day I was in bed all day, and Mai, as she is now, she's a mover. Mai likes to move, she likes to go around. So when I was pregnant with her, Mai was all over the place, baby. She was moving, she was punching and kicking and everything. So this particular day I was in the bed all day, and typically when I'm still, Mai is moving, and she wasn't. But I didn't think nothing of it because I just woke up. It was still the morning time. So I'm like, okay, babe, let me move around, blah, 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 blah. And the things that would get my moving when she was in my stomach was oranges. What else? Music. Typically, I mean, those were the two main things for sure, was the oranges and the music. It was crazy. Now that I'll say that, y'all, Mai fucking loves oranges. Like I can't even pack her lunch in front of her if I'm like giving her oranges to go to school, because she is going to act crazy. She's like, orange, like, I'll be like, chill out. But anyways, this particular day, I ate some oranges. She didn't move. Played the music, didn't move. I'm calling her name. I'm tapping her. She ain't moving. So you know me. I know what I know. I'm panicking. I'm like, yo, what is wrong with mine? Like, she's not moving. Her dad was with me, and men just foolish. But anyway, he like what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. I said, I'm about to go to the hospital. Like, I'm about to go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital, and if you know Houston, the Houston Memorial down, where is it? It's over there by Herman Park. Y'all, if you know that hospital is literally like the Maze Runner. That movie, if y'all ever seen it, is huge. I parked on one side, and that was on the opposite side of maternity ward. So y'all, I'm huge. I'm probably like what, 8 months pregnant. And if you know me, I'm very short. I got this big belly. And I'm walking around the hospital, and I start to get overwhelmed because now I'm crying. Like, I'm crying, walking around the hospital, and everybody's literally looking at me like, okay, y'all, this lady needs help, because look at me. I'm huge. I'm crying. I'm pregnant. It's like, it's chaos. So this one nurse, she comes up to me. She's like, what's wrong? She's like, And I told her, I said, I'm trying to look for the maternity ward, like where to go to get my baby checked because I haven't felt her all day. And y'all, when I said that nurse face dropped, and that literally just made me cry even more. Like, I got even more scared. And she's like, okay, she freaking out because she like, okay, I don't know where to go. So it was a doctor. It literally looked like he just came from surgery, because he still had all the gear on and shit, like, and he's like, what's going on? And she was like, okay, she haven't felt her baby move. That's all she said. This man took my arm, y'all, and dragged me, y'all. It was crazy. This man took my arm, he dragged me. He's like, he calling people on the phone, da 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 da. So he's like, I'm coming up. We coming up. I'm crying, I'm boo crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. And we finally get to the maternity ward. They check me in and they set up the ultrasound. The first thing they do is put the heartbeat on. Y'all, struggling to find a heartbeat. Immediately, I'm scared. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it was just because the lady that was doing it, she was new. Of course, perfect timing. So they put the heartbeat thing on, and they try to find her heartbeat. Boom, they find her heartbeat. So then she comes in to do the ultrasound. Y'all, guess what Maya is up in there doing? She is in there chilling, sucking on her thumb. But like, as soon as the lady come up in there to do my ultrasound, she kicks the ultrasound thing. I said, what the heck, y'all? And the lady, she just laughs because she's like, this is so typical, this is normal, and I'm actually super glad that you came in for real, because most women don't come in and the circumstances are very different, right? So I tell y'all, I say that to say, do your research and learn about the things that you should look out for, because honestly, if I would have never been, anxious about not being able to feel mine, then I would have never been able to go to the hospital and really figure out what was going on. So there's this perks about being anxious, but also it's to a certain extent to where I was able to still try to regulate my emotions until it was like, the last moment of like me being in the hospital, being lost. It was just so many factors that caused me to really like, I can't do this anymore, right? But yes, do your research, build your knowledge on every aspect, every account, and it's gonna be fine, for real. Always have that support system. I say somebody outside that has already experienced it, but maybe somebody that's not too high up or too far away from the experience, if you get what I'm saying. I hate to call people old, but I don't want to do that. But y'all know what I'm saying, okay? You don't want them too far out, because times have changed. The things have changed, okay? But moving on into like having your birth plan together and birthing anxiety, that was a big thing that I did struggle with for sure. And probably more than anything was being in a hospital about to have her, because that was just me naturally. Like I don't do well in hospitals at all. Never really had positive experiences with them. So me being in there, that was my first time really in the hospital. Like, all attention is on me, so I'm like anxious. Doctors coming in, my heart just da 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 da. But eventually I calmed down, because the nurses, Memorial Herman, 10 out of 10. And if y'all having a baby in Houston, go there. But I try to like find outlets to help me manage that, for sure. And it came down to a lot to the music that I would listen to. But one thing I know, I tell y'all, I don't have any regrets, but I actually do. This is my biggest regret. I have one regret in my life, and it's not having my friends here during my birth. For real, I try to be so private, so secretive, but here I am. I'm playing it. I'm laying on the table, ladies. That's my biggest regret. I kind of wish that my friends were here, or at least one of them was here, and my friends were on the phone, like, just being engaging and, like, hey, making me laugh, like keeping the process going, I feel like I kind of robbed them of that experience, and I robbed myself from that experience because it was well deserved, but also it's just like things went the way it did. It wasn't a bad, oh no, my birthday wasn't terrible, let me say that, but I kind of just wish my friends were there. So I said that to say, make sure you have your birth plan aligned for how ideal you want it to be. If you want to have a water birth, do your research. If you want to have it at a birthing center with a doula, do your research and do what you want to do, because it's going to ease your anxieties a lot more than you think it would, right? And handle it early on, so as you go progress through your pregnancy, you're not constantly like you're rushing, because that's going to cause you to be more anxious, right? And you don't want to deal with that. Like, it's just pointless. It's going to defeat the purpose of us trying to ease the anxieties, because they're going to come regardless, but we're going to find ways to make it a little free flower and just vibing, right? And the best way we can do that is to pre-plan. And now, talking about pre-planning, is think about how you want to go home and how you want things to be set up. So I can say every baby is so different. Like, I expected mine to be colicky, crybaby, not sleeping through the night, because that's constantly what people tell you, but that is literally the rarest of occasions. And it also goes back to, like, you know, how you treated your body during your pregnancy. Like, a lot of people don't realize, like, that kind of stuff does have a factor into how your baby comes out, you know, and how they maintain through their newborn stages, how you are during your pregnancy. Y'all know it was middle fingers up to the world when I was pregnant, because I said, y'all know how to stress me out. So guess what? I had a baby that did not stress me out. Okay, she was the last person to stress me out after I had her. But having your plan when you're going to go home, about your schedule, if you're going to have help. My mom was here for 2 months. Her dad was here with me, so I had like hands-on help for real. Outside of dealing with everything else I was dealing with, I really didn't have a set plan. Like, I kind of had everything set up already for sure. Like, her swing, bassinet. Like, you should not be doing anything but resting when you go home, okay? Like, you do not want to have to be putting nothing together, washing clothes, folding clothes. Like, no, have those people in your life that are going to be there to help you for real, because you're going to need it. The rest is very important, and that bonding time between you and baby is very important. Don't let anybody pressure you into rushing you to letting guests come in, or, you know, just, you know how it is. People just want to be in control. Your answer is your answer. Trust your gut always, and don't let people invade your space when you are not ready, okay? Because they're not going to do that, because that's also going to feed into your anxiety of your baby getting sick or just being exposed to the wrong energies. Even though babies are going to display if they're in their wrong energy, because they're going to cry and cry and cry. They're not going to stop crying, okay? So to avoid that completely, just make sure you move when you are ready and not when everybody else is ready. Okay, now clock that T, baby. Don't let anybody pressure you into anything, y'all. And that's one thing I had established from the jump. And typically, like I said, people when they have problems with me, they don't come address me directly, because they already know my response. It's just like, everything I'm going to say is very valid, because this is my life and you're just living in it, okay? Especially when it comes down to my child, I kind of don't play those games, and especially not a newborn child during the sickliest era of our lifetime. Like, no, thank you. You can keep that. But yeah, going home is just having everything already set up for you, so you cannot be so anxious about having everything, right? And that goes into like trying to manage your schedules and stuff. And what was I saying? Something just made me lose my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, going back to, you know, going home after having the baby. And I'm here to tell you that everything is not supposed to be figured out, right? You are going through a life-changing experience. Like, you are becoming a new person and you're raising a new person, right? So everything is not supposed to be perfect. And I feel like sometimes we get lost in trying to make our lives so perfect that we forget that we learn from being imperfect. Because if you do not fail, if you do not miss things, you are not going to learn. There's no way to learn if nobody has ever messed up on something. Like, if the plane didn't crash, we wasn't going to be able to know, like, oh, we need to add this on there, right? So it's just like, stop trying to expect life to just to be perfect, and it's not supposed to be like that. Give yourself some grace and understand that we are going to make it how we're going to make it, but have faith that you are going to make it, and you will. Okay, y'all know I have to preach y'all every episode, every once in a while. But I want us to, start this year off with an open chest, being able to realize that, okay, I know that sometimes I'm not going to be in the best positions or feeling the best because of, the challenges that come with motherhood. But at the end of the day, I know I'm going to make it because I know I will. I have God on my side, or whatever you believe in is supporting you through your life. Like, come on, you gotta make sure that you keep your head held high and not let those battles keep you under the dust and under the rug and hidden behind a brick wall, because we are elevating, we are pushing through, and we are striving for all things gold and all things beautiful, right? Because these kids are dependent on us. We are their lifeline. We are their examples. And if they see us constantly striving to be perfect and failing and not learning from those failures, then what's the point? Because we're teaching them to just give up on life when things don't look how we expect them to look, when yet it's not always how our life is supposed to go. It's not always how we are supposed to live. It's like, okay, now I need to open my mind to see what else is out there for me, right? So just be careful, or just be mindful. I say careful a lot, but just be mindful of the things that you are putting into your life and into your aura, but be generous. This is your first time being a mom. Nobody has it figured out. Trust me. It's people out here with 5, 6, 7, 10 kids still making mistakes. Nobody is supposed to have it figured out. You're not going to have it figured out. It's just like, be gracious that you made it, and you're going to work out just fine. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move into our question of the day. We're going to go ahead and get to our question of the day. And if you are new here, our question of the day is read out of our 3,000 questions about me book. And after I read the question, I ask that you sit in it for 5 minutes and answer it as genuinely as you can. Openly, though. Speak it out loud, write it down, talk to somebody about it, talk to yourself about it. Whatever that openly means to you, do it and genuinely answer it, because it is your answer. And the point of us reading this question out of our 3,000 questions about me book is because as mothers, we tend to indulge in so much giving to everybody else that we forget to give to ourselves. So I read the question so that we can remember to put a little 1-2 into ourselves, so we can put the best out for our kids. Okay. So, and if you don't know, if you personally want this book, I literally just got it from Target a couple years ago, or I say years. I probably got it like 2-3 years ago. So yes, tap in, get to it. But if y'all want to just wait for me to read the question, I highly recommend. Okay. I choose the questions at random. Last year I lied to y'all. I was really trying to nitpick the questions, but I want to keep them at random, so I'm not choosing the vibe. Like, I feel like I always chose like serious questions and not the fun ones. But here it says, if you could steal one thing look at me, I cannot read. If you could steal one thing without consequences, what would it be? That is so easy. Some motherfucking money out the blank. What are you talking about? Why is that even a question? Let me repeat it again for y'all that didn't hear. It says, if you could steal one thing without consequences, what would it be? And my answer, I don't even need 5 minutes to think about it. It'll be the money out the motherfucking bank, baby. Because what do you mean? In every single bank. Give me this, give me, oh, all right, that's for me. Amen. Like, what are you talking about? Girl, the way things, first of all, let me tell y'all, Sprouts, I shop at Sprouts. They didn't have any eggs, y'all. I turned around, I said, where are the eggs? They're talking about the egg shortage. Y'all, what is going on? Like, and then I still somehow spent almost $200 on 5 pieces of grocery. I'm over exaggerating. It was a pretty decent amount of stuff, but it's just like, still, I feel like that's not enough to sustain more than a week. Like, I know my mama was not spending $200 a week on groceries. Like, that is crazy. But hey, we're gonna figure it out. Amen. But if I gotta do anything, it'll most definitely go to the bank and get that money, man. But thank you, ladies, for tuning in for our first episode of the year. I wanted to keep it short and simple because we have a lot of build up to get into this year, a lot of topics to talk about, and I really am thankful for y'all for sticking by my side during this entire journey. We are just starting and we're gonna go super far together. I want to wish you another happy new year and wish you the best of luck. If nobody has ever told you, right, you are doing an amazing job as a mommy. Do not be hard on yourself. It's gonna come when it comes. Just woosah, relax when things get hard. If you're in those terrible tools, I'm gonna pray for you because I'm praying for me. Amen. So I can't wait to see you ladies next week. Make sure y'all tune in. Bye.